Salute family, Sean First Class Bennett here, and this is a great episode. I'm excited about it, but you know what? We gotta hear my music first. So cue the music. When we come back, we're gonna get right into it. This is Your Army Now.
Coming to you live from the NorCal studios in Sacramento, California, this is Your Army Now.
Okay, you're still with us. Awesome. I love it. Okay, this is going to be a great episode. I'm excited. A few weeks ago, I went down to the Military Entrance Processing Station, better known as MEPS, and I got the lowdown for all of you who are wondering what the process is. What do we do? If I want to join the Army after I leave my recruiting station and my recruiter signs me up, and then I have to go down and take the test and I have to take the physical, what happens? This is a big mystery. Well, I'm going to pull the curtain back and I'm about to show you exactly what happens at the MEPS. All right? This is going to be exciting. So check this out. Salute family, Sean First Class Bennett here, and we are at the Sacramento Military Entrance Processing Station, or MEPS, and I am here with our resident expert. This is Mr. Thomas. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
How you doing? I'm Mr. Thomas. I'm actually an Army guidance counselor. Work at the Military Processing Station at MEPS for the Army, and we process a lot of people from the Army, and we want to make sure we're doing the right thing for the Army and taking care of you guys.
All right, so when you say processing, you know, for those who don't know, we want to know exactly, like, just a brief overview of what happens.
First, you would actually come down here. You're actually going to take a test, Army
Armed service,
Armed Service Vocational Aptitude Battery Test. Right. You'll take that test and see what kind of scores that you have availability for what kind of jobs will be available to you. Also, after that, then you will take a physical if you're scheduled to take a physical, and that's a full extended sports physical and with a little bit of exercises in it and talking to an official doctor to make sure that we bring quality soldiers in the Army.
Right. All right. So that sounds good. So you're going to take us around and see what this is all about, what the different stations and stuff?
Sure. It's my pleasure.
Okay, cool. So let's do it. All right. So we're outside of the MEPS, and we're going to take you step by step, pace by pace, what the process is. So tell us about the entrance when you're first coming into the building.
Well, when you first come in, you got to make sure that you're coming into a federal building. Okay. So it's the same process going through TSA to any kind of flight, and we don't make sure that you're not bringing in any kind of weapons or any kind of flammable items, anything that will be a harm to anybody else. We're a very secure building.
Right. All right. Okay. So what do we have here?
This is the baggage room for all applicants or anybody that's coming in this building. They'll place their backpacks or any kind of equipment in here, and it's secured, so you don't have to worry about your valuables while you're here at MEPS.
So you were saying that they actually could lock it, automatically lock it?
Correct. The control button is actually at the front desk to unlock and lock it.
Okay. So, and then after they put their bags in, and then they go to the front desk, right?
They'll go to the front desk to process for the Army.
Let's go check it out. Very good. So it's all right. And then here we go. And here's the front desk. And who do we have here, sir? How you doing, Sergeant Bennett?
Ron Lithgow.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
All right. So after they put their bags, they come to the front desk, and then.
Actually, after they put their bags in, we send them to their services.
Okay.
When they're there, they'll turn in their cell phones, and they'll receive name tags, at which time they'll come back to this black line, which is the nerve center of the MEPS, okay? The black line.
The black line.
All right. From there, we will either send them where they need to go, whether it's medical. In addition to the black line where they need to stop, there's 3 other lines. The red line, when they need to go to medical, they have to follow that red line all the way to medical.
Oh, wow.
The blue line is when they first get here. That blue line takes them straight back to their services.
Okay.
So that once they get to the other waiting area, you'll see in a little bit. From there, you can see all the services offices, and that's where they need to go.
Awesome.
The green line actually goes from there back and goes that way back into testing.
Okay.
So if they're here for testing, they stop. We're here for take a test. We'll do what we need to do, and then we send them back there at their appropriate time.
So you heard me mention in past episodes about the Armed Service Vocational Aptitude Battery. It's the ASVAB test. This is what they take to make sure we see what you qualify for, what type of jobs you qualify for, what you are capable of learning. So tell us a little bit more about the ASVAB.
So when you come and take the ASVAB, everybody has to have a passing score to actually join the Army.
Right.
So that's
What
how
was
we
the passing
validate.
score?
Passing score would be 31.
Right.
And above to 99. Once you have that available score and you're ready to come take the test, you'll actually have a picture ID, social security card, and a request for examination. And we're going to validate that pertinent information to make sure we're spelling your name right, your social, and where you live, to have that, because that's when we get our first data from you. So when you come down and take the ASVAB, you'll go through this door. It's secured, authorized only for personnel that are taking the ASVAB, and the testing administration's back there. So that's why we're not going back there.
Right.
Because we're not giving up the answers.
Yeah, secure room. You're not going to do that. So tell us about the PICAT.
The PICAT you can actually take at the recruiting station or actually at your house, and it's actually the ASVAB test online. You would come down here and take 30 questions of that PICAT to validate that you actually took the test from there. What I've overheard through testing section, 1 out of 5 fail the PICAT. So make sure that you have at least 3 hours to take the full ASVAB if that happens.
Air missile defense is the latest technology, and it is the future for air defenders.
Air defense is placed on the battlefield is behind the ground forces, where we are deterrent to push forward and eliminate enemy ballistic missiles and aircraft.
This job is very physically demanding. You have to be able to lift ammo cans, work under pressure. Like, you need to be very mentally and physically strong.
We protect our friendly allies against enemy fire. We are infantry of the sky.
You're still with us. Hang in there. I love it. Thank you for sticking it out with us. I appreciate it. All right. For those of you who are just joining us, this is Your Army Now. I'm Sergeant First Class Bennett. We're still moving forward. We just talked about the first portion of the Military Entrance Processing Station, MEPS. When you first go in, we talked about what happens. You drop your bag off, you go through security clearance, as if it's TSA at the airport. It's a secured building. We just talked about what happens at the front desk. You get your name tag, and we gave you a little brief overview. So rewind the episode, check it out. Now we're going to go into the medical portion, right? We're going to talk about the issues of the maneuvers, the physical body maneuvers that a lot of recruiters have, or I should say a lot of the recruits, the future soldiers have problems with. We're going to talk about that. You're going to get into just what happens when you go through the medical portion. So I don't want to give it all away. I'm going to jump right into that. So let's get right into that right now. So follow us on all of these platforms right here. This is Your Army Now. Let's jump right into MEPS. We're now in the medical section where the applicants will go through and get checked up and everything. We're going to get more in depth with that. So I'm here with Anita Malone. And Sergeant Hayes. He's in the Air Force. Sorry, we had to do it. No, I'm kidding. No, so they're going to tell us a little bit about themselves before we move forward. So tell us what exactly do you do?
I'm a medical supervisor here at the Sacramento MEPS, so I just oversee the process and the daily operations of the Sacramento MEPS. We have about 13 physicians that we work with, and then we have about 10 med techs that we work with every day.
Sergeant Hayes?
Sergeant Hayes is one of the medical technicians that work the floor. So.
All right. What's the daily routine like for you for this section?
So our daily routine is the applicants start arriving on the med deck about 0600 hours. So when they come in, we get their age, their hair colors, get their biometrics, and we start out with doing their hearing test.
Right.
After they do the hearing test, they do their vision. We grab their blood pressure and pulse. After they do that, then they sit in the classroom and they wait for the medical briefing, the commander's brief and the medical brief, which takes about an hour and a half to 2 hours before all of that. So the one thing that we want to stress on that If you notice, I didn't say anything about urinalysis. We don't start urinalysis until after the medical brief, and that can end about 09:15, 9:30.
Okay. So what would you say is the most important information that coming into this process at this stage that an applicant should know?
The most important thing that the applicant should know on our viewpoint, walking into the medical floor, getting ready for their physical, is all the maneuvers and what to expect when they actually come on the med deck. Okay, we have 24 ortho-neuro maneuvers that the applicants have to perform and perform correctly before they can get passed on to be qualified or not qualified for their physicals. So there's 24, there's upper and lower maneuvers. The issues that applicants face the most problems with is the infamous duck walk.
The duck walk.
The duck walk, the infamous duck walk, the kneel to stand position, and then we have the kicks that at times applicants have issues with. If we do the females, I like to go and let the females know that have their back straight. A lot of females want to come forward, and as soon as they lift their leg up, they fall. They lose their balance. So how we instruct the females is whatever leg you're going to start with, shift all your weight. So I start with this leg, so I shift all my weight over here, and it's heel, toe, balance, pivot. Heel, toe, balance, pivot. So it looks something like this. I'm going to start with this leg, so I shift all my weight. Heel, toe, balance, pivot. Heel, toe, balance, pivot.
So how do you what's your way, your method?
So my way, I pretty much have them tell them the same thing. So we're squatted down on toes just like this. A lot of applicants, you'll see that they like to walk straight, as you saw Miss Malone was showing you. Instead, when you walk straight, you want to stand up. When you walk straight, just like this, you want to stand up like that. But when you go out to the side, like Miss Malone was doing, you're actually going to shift your weight, and you can keep your butt at the correct height the whole time. So they can't lift their butt up like that, and they can't put their arms on their legs or anything like that. So what you're going to do is you're going to put your foot out that heel toe, and then just like Miss Malone was doing it, put your weight over, heel toe, heel toe, heel toe, heel toe, and then when you get to the end, you're going to stay low, pivot around again. Right. So basically the exact same thing. You can't put your hands on the ground, and you cannot touch your legs or anything like that. So the kneel to stand is pretty famous for being hard for the applicants. So the kneel to stand, what we do is we have them on the kneeling position like this. We have them curl their toes underneath them, and they're supposed to, in one fluid motion, stand up. So in one fluid motion just like this, they need to rock back and then stand up with no extra steps. So it's going to look like this, and then no extra steps.
Okay, another issue that we have is when they perform the kicks. So when they perform the kicks, there's a certain particular maneuver that they have to do. So we call it either crushing the can or starting the motorcycle. So you either go to the forward position or the backward position. So the one thing that we want to do is the applicants have to have their knee up at a 90-degree angle with their toe pointed forward. And when we say down, you're going to snap your leg down, lock your knee, and your toes, your heel's going to end up by your big toe. So we'll be down, snap, just like that. Up, down, up, down. Okay, and so...
And that's crushing the can.
That's crushing the can. The one thing with that is, obviously the applicants are in their whitey-tidies, their underwear, so the doctor actually has to see the knee be locked, and they cannot touch the ground. So that's how we crush the can. So,
and
yes.
so typically what is the issues that you have? Like you have applicants not being able to balance or not locking? What is the issue?
So majority of the issues is not locking their knee, and when they lock their knee, they have to keep it locked until the doctor says or the med tech says up. A lot of individuals will lock their knee, and then as soon as they lock it, they let it go flaccid again, and they're not keeping it locked. Having lack of coordination, not able to balance, they can put their hands on their hips, they can do whatever they want, but the majority of the thing is they're not locking their knee, and they're going way out here, they're not crushing a can. It had to go right by their big toe.
So they're not following instructions?
Yes.
Okay.
So the other one is starting the motorcycle. It's the same maneuver, but instead of going forward, your toe is going to end up by your heel. Same maneuver, 90-degree angle with your leg, toes pointed forward, down. So see how his leg is down and his knee remains locked.
Right.
Up, down, up, down. Those maneuvers, the duck walk, the stand to the kneel, and the kicks are some of the things that we have the most difficulty with. But just like you said, it's just following basic instructions and taking every test seriously.
Congratulations on graduating from high school. Most consider this to be the first step of your professional life. Now you have to choose between a wide variety of options for your future. One of those options can put you on a fast track to professional success. It begins with 10 weeks of training to develop physical and mental toughness, followed by the latest high-tech training in one of over 150 career options. Then you get the chance to apply that theory into real-world practice at your first unit assignment. In just under 4 years, you can leave the Army with job skills and real-world experience, ready to return home with newfound leadership skills to contribute to your community, all while being financially prepared for your college career with a competitive advantage under your belt. So consider the option that jumpstarts your career over the competition while giving back to your nation. For more information, visit goarmy.com/more-in-4.
You're still with us, we're going to drive forward. So that was the first part of medical, but there's still some more things that we have to cover in the medical portion. And we also got to talk about the ASVAB test too. So this is good, this is good. Stick with us, you're going to get through it. Recruiters, use this video for your soldiers. Let them see this video, show it to them so they get an understanding, so they're not going into MEPS blind, all right? So this is very important information. So this episode is kind of for the civilians, but it's also kind of for the recruiters, because as you can see, there's a lot of information here that will help us as well as recruiters. So use this video, use it. All right. So let's go back to MEPS and go back to the medical portion. And again, don't forget, you see YouTube and all this stuff up here. Just follow us on all these platforms, Twitch, you see it all up here, Facebook. All right. Let's do it. Twitter, not Twitter. What's this? Instagram. Yes. All right. It's right there. I don't know. And also, this is your Army Now. So let's go right into MEPS.
Here, another issue is hearing. A lot of the generation today have those iPods,
Right.
earbuds.
Earbuds, yes.
And they listen to high music, or they're do a lot of hunting, or with their jobs, constructions, they're not letting their ears rest for at least 48 hours. So that proves to be an issue, because then they fail their hearing test. They got to come back, and we all know we want everybody to get qualified the first time they're here. Overweight, underweight is an issue. So knowing where they stand.
I think a lot of them don't know that they're actually providing a urine sample or having a blood draw when they come in. So that would be nice to put out there, which can be a little tricky when it comes to drug tests and things like that too. So
yeah. So recruiters out there, we have to make sure that we're preparing our applicants. We got to make sure that we do a better job at informing them these things. So that's why we're doing this.
With the pre-screen, let me just throw a shot in there with the physician. The pre-screen is just make sure that every incident of a medical incident is documented, and just to fill that as best and truthful as they can. That will expedite the process. Orientation for the recruiters is making sure that the females know about their private exam, to make sure that they are going to get a private exam, and they will have their body inspected. So they have the genital exam. So that's very difficult when you have a 17-year-old who's never had a private exam, and then they're nervous, they're hyperventilating, they're crying. The med techs are trying to reassure the applicant, and the doc comes in, and it just makes a hard situation for everybody. So all the recruiting companies should have our physical MEPS physical examination and what to expect. If no one doesn't have it out there, please get a hold of somebody in the battalion, and we can get it to you. And it's just as simple as, can you read this? Because a lot of young recruiters don't want to talk to females about what actually going to take place when they do the genital inspection. So that's
when we do have the applicants come in, they're required to provide a urine sample. So when they provide a urine sample, we do testing for, we take a sample for drugs, and then we do protein and glucose testing.
Okay.
So if they're eating high sugary diets, that might reflect in their urine. That might be something that you might want to look out for.
Right.
As well as if you're trying to make weight, if you're trying to cut weight, stuff like that. Fasting and stuff like that will actually make your urine darker, and then give you a higher likely to be high protein and things like that. So every day we have somebody come in and they calibrate the scale. So you'll just come in, and we'll turn on the scale.
Okay.
And we have our 25-pound weight here. We make sure it's zeroed out. And every day we make sure that's right on the dot. Now, if that's actually wrong, we can just adjust adjust the feet until it actually matches the weight, and then that way we know that our weights are accurate every day. The heights right here, we're required to have this little
The liquid to make sure that it's
liquid.
balanced and
definitely
perfectly.
So now we know that it's right. All our heights are correct.
Okay, so it's very detailed and accurate. So it's not
Definitely.
nothing where it's giving a false height and weight.
Definitely.
This is definitely to
Same thing every time.
All right. So is there anything else that you would like to mention to our applicants out there that we may have missed?
Yes, a couple of things. One of the most important things I want to talk about is jewelry and piercings. Piercings aren't allowed in the MEPS at all, whether it's earring piercings or what have you. But I want to talk more about the piercings that aren't visible to the eye unless you get stripped down. And we do strip you down. So no piercings, no body piercings, nipple piercings, belly button piercings, piercing below the belt, because they will be visible, they will be seen. And if that's happens, your processing will stop and you have to come back at a different day.
Right.
Another thing I want to talk about is underwear. So females can wear a sports bra. In the past, they weren't able to wear sports bras, but the regulatory guidelines has changed, so they can wear a sports bra. We just like to make sure that you have the right fitting bra on, so you're not spilling out everywhere. And then compression underwear of any type aren't authorized on the med deck, and that's US MEPCOM's regulatory guidelines, not the Sacramento MEPS. So no compression Nike or what have you, chonies, just boxers, boxer briefs, whitey tighties, cotton underwear. Ladies can wear lace chonies, they can wear different colors, they don't have to be white. A lot of the females will say, my recruiter told me I have to go buy white granny panties. We don't care what they look like, just for respect out of the provider and the applicant, and based on regulatory guidelines, thongs and G-strings aren't authorized because you do have to turn around and touch your toes, and so you're sewing your hole back into the doctor.
So definitely on the other side of it, I think these applicants, they are in the beginning stages of their professional career. We do expect them to act professional to a certain extent.
Not just in demeanor, but also in how they dress as well.
Exactly, exactly. And these are some of the things that kind of press on the staff is when they're excessively loud in the med deck. It actually gets in the way of interviews, of just actual direction of traffic for the applicants, and all kinds of other things that we need to take care of for the applicants. So being an applicant for the U.S. military doesn't mean that you're just going to get into the military. You need to actually put your part in.
Yeah, you need to start to think like a military person. You need to start realizing that you're a professional, and it starts now. It doesn't start after you go to basic training.
Definitely.
Wow. Well, Mr. Thomas, I definitely appreciate your time and
Thank you,
everything.
Sergeant Bennett.
You've helped me out a lot, and you've helped a lot of people out there in the world. This was definitely quality time. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So there you have it, family. We just spent our day at the Military Entrance Processing Station, the MEPS. You've seen it all. So if you're out there and you're thinking about joining the Army or any other branch, this is what it's about. This is what you go through. So practice, see what you got to do, and I'll take it back to the studio. This is your Army Now. Sergeant Bennett, out.
Bandit 3, this is Fox 2-3. Can you see that contact to our front? Bandit Fox 2-3, out. Mark him with tracer fire.
There are those who choose a different path in life. A path of selflessness, of service. A path that leads to freedom. Do you have what it takes? Find out at goarmy.com/warriors.
All right, we've run out of time. It's okay. Don't cry. We'll be back. All right, we will be back. It may be me, maybe Sergeant Major Nelson, it may be Sergeant Neves. Who knows who's going to be sitting in this seat? This is the good thing about being in the Army. We're flexible, we're adjustable, we are nimble, we can pivot at any point. You never know what's going to happen. So I'm proud of you. You hung in there. For those of you, if this is the first episode you're watching, welcome to the family. We ran out of time. Again, to recap, we took you through the Military Entrance Processing Station, the MEPS. So now the mystery is gone. We just pulled the curtain back and you got to see behind the scenes of what it's like to go through MEPS. So thank you for sticking with us. Thank you for joining us. Come back tomorrow or next week. It's all good. All right, so be good to each other. Knowledge yourself. Sergeant Bennett, salute. This is Your Army Now. See you next time. Peace.